Jim, WWE Raw, last night as we are recording, November 10th, 2025. What did you see on Raw?
Well, now we get to the meat of the matter because they were in Boston, Beantown, Bowserville, baby. 17,671 fans to see John Cena's last time in Boston. It's like the old saying in the wrestling business, maybe such and such promoter died, and the guys say, boy, he had a big crowd at his funeral, and they, well, give the people what they want to see, they'll come out for it. And were you automatically like about halfway through Triple H's in-ring flowery intro, the build-up that if he had paused, he was starting to get whatted? Was that just him wanting to stick his face in there?
Yeah.
Or at least want to do that long?
That was him wanting to be the promoter doing that in the role of being the Dana White at WWE. That was him drawing things out the same way he would when he wrestled or did promos 20 years ago when people stopped watching the show en masse. I think he went up to John Cena before and said, all right, we got 20 minutes. I'm taking 11. I mean, it took a while to get there, but it was really cool once we got there.
I wrote the long and winding intro that leads to your music.
Well, think about it, too.
When Triple H wants the rub. Go ahead.
Well, think about it, too. Triple H is never going to get this kind of night, more than likely, because his hometown is New Hampshire. I guess this may even be the closest arena.
Wait, his hometown is New Hampshire?
Well, it's a place in New Hampshire. You know what I mean. Whatever town he's from, Nashua, New Hampshire, whatever it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's from a place in New Hampshire.
And you remember DX, of course. It was 4 guys and a girl. Or 4 people and a girl. I can't do anything right here. My point is, Triple H is never
up your own line. You're killing me.
Triple H is never.
I'm dying.
Listen, Inoki, Triple H is never going to get a night like this in a hometown. So he decided to take a lot of Cena's in his hometown.
Hey, Triple H will probably be able to afford to just fly everybody from Nastyville, New Hampshire, or whatever, to a goddamn building at a theater near you whenever he wants to do it.
He was doing his intro, and he was like, I've been a star, I've been a wrestler, I've been a promoter, I've been a businessman. And I'm like, when have you been a businessman? I don't know about this.
I can put my stamp of approval on this man about to come out here. But the concept of Triple H as the Dana White figurehead guy is not unheard of and wouldn't even have been scoffed at by me had he kept it a little to the fucking point and not glommed the rub off onto himself quite so much. And then they play Cena's music, and it's Boston with 17,671 people or whatever, and it's his hometown, and here we go. And the thing I thought was interesting is they started the Cena chants at the start. He didn't milk it. He didn't tell him to stop, but by the way that he started speaking and things he did, he started the promo, and they still did a thank you Cena, which again, he didn't gratuitously drag out. And there's ways he could have stood a different way and done that, or just had an expression. But he knew this thing was going to take a while already, and he probably was like, fuck, this is the first hour of the show if I don't get to the point. Did you get that idea? Anybody else would have milked this so much fucking. This cow would have been dry.
I thought they milked it just enough after Triple H had milked it for so long.
Yeah, I'm starting the clock when he quit talking.
Also, the Dominik thing is coming. And if there was anything to milk, it was the way the fans were going to be going crazy for that entire segment. So maybe he was just waiting to get to that.
Well, he got right into the deal. What is my goal? I wanted to leave the business better than I found it. I want to give back opportunities. And he plugged the Last Time Is Now tournament. which will not to get off on a subplot. And then he announced on the Saturday night's main event on December 13th, NXT talent will get a chance to have quote unquote exhibitions with top WWE talent. Now let's stop here for a second before we get into the meat of this matter. And what do you think they're going to, how do you, no, what are you laughing already?
I'm laughing. He's afraid he's going to upset the athletic commission. Why else would you talk like that?
Well, that's, I know an exhibition in what I think the terminology they're going to try to use is that he just wants the young folks that are up and coming talents to get a chance to be recognized by the wider audience and show their skills. But it's an exhibition where the top guys, they're not really trying to kill here. They're not trying to maim and win at all costs. And that's the way you would have set up, which I assume is kind of what they may be going to do, an exhibition match in the old days where the old veteran is going to face, some guy, a workout exhibition, whatever, and then shit happens. Most of the time shit doesn't happen, but that's when you set it up, then the shit happens. So yeah, they have to be setting up that one of these exhibitions is going to lead to, I would think, only one specific of the NXT talents winning, embarrassing the veteran, reversing his hold, whatever do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I mean, again, if it's a card filled with those kind of exhibitions, that's where it gets a little interesting. It's not just like, one NXT guy gets a chance. Javon Evans gets a chance against whoever. If it's all exhibitions, NXT versus main roster, then it really becomes, what is this going to be?
Well, but it's also going to be, that's his last match against, whoever the winner of the now tournament is. But is it going to be, again, like like a 5-minute thing? Is it going to be like a segment of exhibitions? Okay, well, here's this, and they get to go 5 minutes, and maybe they go through. Or maybe the NXT guy, then the next one wins or loses in 4.5 minutes. And then they have one and they go through, but the NXT guy was looking good, and he asked for 5 more. Again, I'm just making this shit up, but they probably are too.
Oh, no, I see here they have a new name of the show. It's John Cena's final match. Also, TKO says, fuck you, Peacock. We're going to give you exhibitions. Fill out our contract.
Well, but here's the thing. That's when then the guy asks for 5 more minutes, and then they fucking, some way or another, the young upstart wins the thing. And then if it's a heel and the goddamn established star kicks a shit out of him, and you started something. I don't know what they're going to do, but exhibitions, if it's not something of that nature, I don't know why they would be calling them exhibitions. And then, did you notice when he said he was referring to the city of Boston and said that he saw his first WWF match when he was a kid right down the street at the old Garden? They bleeped the F in WWF.
Yeah.
When he was referring to it in historical fashion. How the fuck would somebody be that quick, the 7-second fucking button, to be able to catch that one letter, and they can't bleep fuck out of the chants in the crowd?
Did you see it live, or you saw it the next day?
I saw it the next day.
Yeah,
but
me too.
Would they have gone back and for that?
Remember when they edited the Ultimate Warrior's Hall of Fame speech because he said that Jerry McDevitt lost a case to the WWF, actually? Now that I think about it, we're bringing it full circle back to the F. They edited that out before they released it. They'll do that for anything.
In a historical fashion, I would think that that's so minute. Who would... All right. Anyway. So then, as he said, thank you to everybody, that's where Dominik interrupted. And here came Dom, and that AAA belt looks like an ashtray from a gimmick stand in Cancun, doesn't it? what the fuck are they doing with that? The WWE belts are bad enough these days, but it looks like it's copper. Ah. So then they tried to chant, shut the fuck up when, and they got most of them. But here they're booing the shit out of Dominik, not because they're bored and or disinterested and they've latched onto an audience participation thing, but because they genuinely are booing him specifically because he's confronting Cena. And he did a great job. He hung with Cena. He wasn't intimidated. The facials, the body language, whatever. He is so much better now than he was, well, every year before. But I mean, from 5 years ago, this is insane. And Dominik told Cena, "You speak when you're spoken to, or I'll put you down." And the fans start saying, "You fucked up. You fucked up." And Cena told Dominik off, and the people loved it. And right up to his face, "I'll fucking kick the shit out of blah, 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 whatever the fuck." But he gave him a chance to leave due to his respect for Dominik's father. And Dominik's facials are great there because he's scoffing and he's chewing that gum. And what a slappable face. And he tells Cena that he's better than Cena ever was. And I will always be better than you. We're at any time, any place, any era in your career, blah, blah, blah. And then here comes Triple H. And see, this is the part where an announcer or a representative of the promotion, an authority figure, whatever, where they should be used. And Triple H steps in. "Well, you said anytime, any place. Well, this looks like a good time and place, and right now." And it's Cena against Dominik for the Intercontinental title, and the place blows because they didn't think they were going to get that. Or at least they didn't. Before Dominik walked out there, they probably they don't advertise things anymore. So Triple H called for the referee. The fans are up. We go to the break. That's a break spot. And that's like the first half hour of the show. But it was good. What did you think? Am I being too
no.
effusive?
This was better than, I shouldn't even say better than I would have thought it would have been. Dominik Mysterio just hits home runs. He's the best heel in the business right now. And he knows what he's doing in there. Like you said, his facial expressions, his reactions, the nonsense of him saying, "I'll put you down." I mean, it's ridiculous, but it worked. And it got a big reaction. And you want to talk facial expressions, Cena's face when he's saying these things.
Yes.
They're fucking ridiculous. This was good.
And Dominik says it like he means it. It's like this is the idea. He's so swell-headed, egotistical with his fame, and he had his mommy, and then he had his daddy, and I don't know, whatever the fuck, that he's legitimately lost grip like that. And that's the point. You have to be real. And he's got it. And that's why that it's classic.
Well, Jim, before we get to this match, I think we should mention that Triple H has been getting a lot of gruff online. You may have seen it. We may have discussed it here on the show. That the booking may not be exciting. The shows may not be exciting. However, you see someone like Dominik Mysterio here, and you say, that man sure knows how to pick 'em. We didn't think Dominik Mysterio was going to be the top heel in WWE, but Triple H, he said, "I pick thee." And he got the push, and he's been elevated. And perhaps Triple H, if he ever did anything other than wrestling, may watch sports. And he may want to make some picks with his favorite sports, and we know how he can do that.
And many times you've seen Triple H enter the arena, and all eyes have been upon him as he picked his seat. But now, ladies and gentlemen, you can make picks on a variety of things. And imagine, once again, if they had one of these lineups and rosters on who is going to be the next wrestling star in 5 years over at Prize Picks, well, we wouldn't have said Dominik. I just said that a few minutes ago. We would have been wrong. But if you had to pick that, well, you wouldn't have won any money because they didn't have the category at that point in time. Nevertheless, folks, Prize Picks is a skill-based fantasy game. You can have a daily fantasy. You can decide what your players are wearing and what type of positions that they enter the lineups in.
Well, no, it's not that kind
what
of
kind of jump ball they do and what kind of support they have to jump at these balls.
You can talk about and think about the athletic
Those are the
endeavors,
daily fantasies,
not
right?
the clothing. The clothing is not necessarily part of the deal here.
I thought if you downloaded the Prize Picks app and you said, well, I think that maybe so-and-so in the women's lingerie football league is going to wear such and such color or such and such, I don't know, square inch of, cloth over their lady parts or stuff, that would be, but no, we're going to go right to the other games like the football and the basketball that the men play and stuff. That's what we're doing.
Well, again, Jim, what we're talking about is a way for the listeners to download the Prize Picks app, and when they're watching the big game, they could say, hey, I think this guy's going to do this, and I feel very confident about that, and I have this great promo code. I think it's something like that.
Well, and I have no recollection of that, but you can make lineups on Prize Picks. You can take a variety of the players and just line them up against the wall and say, well, I think it looks like that son of a bitch that picked Granny's pocket. And then if it is, then you win prizes. That's why they call it Prize Picks.
Lineups for the game.
All you have to do is find the guy that picked Granny's pocket.
It's not that,
and you're going to...
It's
player projections,
Yes.
and in that case, just pick who you think is more or less likely. More or less likely to have picked Granny's pocket.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this has nothing to do with your granny. This is not your Gramley's. This is not your Gramley's picks. This
but
is Prize Picks.
you can pick on Grambling University. You can pick them to be over or under,
Friends,
or no. You can pick them to be more or less.
We can't make suggestions. We can't tell you how to do it. But if you're ready to make some picks, some projections, Prize Picks is there for you. Jim, we're having so much fun, but it's time to get to business. How can the listeners get hooked up with this wonderful app?
That's what you want to do. You want to download the Prize Picks app today and use the code JCE to get $50 in lineups. $50 in lineups after you line up your first $5. All you got to do is put in the $5 is what I'm trying to say. And when you play your first $5 lineup, then you will get $50 in lineups, 10 times your original input and then go and just go crazy and pick more granny pickpocketers. Code JCE, $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup on the Prize Picks app today. Prize Picks is good to be right.
Yes, indeed, Prize Picks, friends of ours. They can be friends of yours. But Jim,
I don't know whether I'm going to have to. I'm going to have them over another time or two before I know whether I want to include them in my personal social circle or just maintain a business relationship. But you don't have to be friends with them in order to take their money. Just be right.